Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for joining me on Christmas Eve. I really appreciate it. Anyone else out there living the single life, just having a peaceful time with themselves and just enjoying the experience of being able to watch videos like this here on YouTube for free because YouTube's awesome. You know what I mean? So let's be positive here. I was actually getting a little sad there for a second, so I decided to do what I have to do instead of being sad about it. You know what I mean? And moreover, I do actually want to talk about how the death of a culture impacts all of us more than I think we care to think about. Now, again, thanks for joining me. You know what I mean? I say it all the time, and the views are slowly but surely getting to where they need to be so that one day this channel sooner than later will be monetized, and I can afford to gain a few pounds, So, like, let's get started on why or what I'm talking about tonight. And so, a big part of my life has been sports, without question. I think without sports, I would be just a very different person. And I'm grateful for my experience that I've had in life with playing and being involved in team sports. I've talked on the channel before about the impact that basketball in particular has had on me. I consider myself, played basketball for more hours than I've done anything else in my life. And that is without question, to myself. I've spent a good majority of my waking hours playing basketball. Moreover, as a kid, just to kind of get away from the drama of living in a dysfunctional family unit, as well as just kind of just trying to do my own thing, And so basketball, you can do that. You can just spend $10, get a basketball, walk to a court, and you have limitless entertainment for the rest of the day. I mean, that's just how I feel about basketball. And unfortunately, as it concerns the death of culture, I feel like gambling is to blame for everything. I mean, I feel like Adam Silver over there sitting with his bald, shiny, skinny little head is, inundated with cash flow, but moreover, and the NBA just wrapped up a huge record deal with Disney or whatever. But the problem with that is that nobody watches basketball anymore. Link in the description below to a really cool video that goes into this in greater detail. But obviously, I'm guessing somebody that's my age because I grew up and the basketball that I know, right, is a sport of passion. It's a sport of emotion. That's what it is. That's mostly how sports are, but basketball's got a different vibe to it. You feel me? It really does. Competitive basketball is just way different than competitive American football, it's than any of the sports. It's got its own unique feel to it, its own aesthetic, and it's ruined right now because I haven't watched an NBA game in years. You feel me? I mean, it's been too long. And honestly, I stopped watching the NBA right around the time when the Lakers wrapped up their dynasty run in the early aughts. And since then, it's been kind of dry and very boring, honestly. Teams quickly part from one another. There's no competitive edge that anybody has. There aren't any rivalries. And moreover, all of the NBA players simply just don't care. And I get that. Like, I can see that. A lot of these younger guys have no incentive to perform because, as they've put it, and they're making money anyway. And it just sort of goes against everything. But you can't blame the players because I feel like, and this is just my opinion, but the players act as more of just like background actors. You feel me? Like, more than like competitive people trying to play a basketball game to ensure a victory for their team, which I thought was the whole point of competitive athletics. I don't believe in like winners and losers in like life, you feel me? But when there's an organized sport that has rules, and the rules are a big part of how to establish and determine the best of that pool of people or talent based on the fact that the fairest kind of circumstances have been presented and talent is what prevails ultimately in the end. And moreover, it's not just talent, it's a whole slew of other things. And I think a big part of that is being emotional. And right now, the NBA is just stagnant and dry. Moreover, I'd argue that the whole entirety of sports, in and of themselves, is suffering from a slow death that involves our culture on a larger scale. It's really not a good time to be a sports fan. I mean, I think without even watching sports, people can discern from just hopping on a gaming app, a gambling app. And what's weird is that those gambling predictions are so close to what actually happens in the game. It really does make you wonder why referees call technical fouls for looking at somebody the wrong way, or if you celebrate. I mean, historically speaking, how many technical fouls would Michael Jordan have got? How many technical fouls would the Bulls or the Pistons or the old school Lakers or the Celtics? I'm like, every team, the Pacers, Reggie Miller wouldn't have ever played a game in his life. The old school Knicks, Patrick Ewing, again, like, there are so many examples throughout the NBA and the league's history that point to an era that was absolutely defined by talent. I mean, this is why people like Michael Jordan are household names, and that could be even like if you've never seen a basketball game in your life, you still know who Michael Jordan is, right? I mean, he's like the modern day Jesus. Yeah, I just said that. You feel me? Because that dude is that well known. He's an icon. He's an absolute global icon. And moreover, he's actually one of the wealthiest people in the known, accountable, and reported onto world, hopefully he's hiding some of his cash too, so he's like really Michael Jordan secretly like the richest person in the world. I'd so much rather see Michael Jordan's face trying to troll everything that I see on the internet than like Elon Musk. You feel me? At least Jordan's got something to stand back on, which is the idea or the fact that the man was an incredibly talented basketball player, but also a lot of what made him great was his opportunity to be emotional and to show his passion for the game and to trash talk. Gary Payton, really? I mean, like, Gary Payton wouldn't have been allowed on the basketball court. All I'm saying is that it's unfortunate that people aren't allowed to play the game that they love to play without worry or fear of retribution from outside forces that may or may not be impacted by the end results of the game that you are hired to play. But I would argue again, since the inception of legalized sports gambling, especially its impact on the NBA, it's just a show now. Like, officially, it's just a show. And you should, again, just look to betting apps to see who's going to win or who might score 14 points, but in order to cover the bet, they needed to score more than 14 points. You know what I'm talking about. How many times and how many instances is this absolutely the 100% truth? And you don't think those guys down there are looking at spreadsheets and point spreads and trying to really dictate a game through sheer manipulation and contriving different scenarios? Again, very much like a set where actors go to perform their skills so that they can have a living and make money. Except this time, lots of people watch and lots of people in real life go, and it's a whole production that ends up benefiting nobody but the owners of teams, the league senior board members, and a few players. Now, again, I understand that, like, professional athletes get paid, a pretty handsome sum of money. However, it's also got to be real expensive being a professional athlete, all that traveling. I mean, I'm sure the team doesn't cover absolutely everything, and we all like to, spend a little bit of our money. I can't imagine how far $300,000 is going to get somebody who is playing 82 games a year within a short period of time, just so they can have a few months off at the end of it, which is obviously more than welcome and enjoyable and is well deserved. But like, I'm just saying that, you know how expensive that would be too, like for yourself, even if the plane was covered and some meals and all those other things. Like, life still costs money, and when you're traveling in and out of big cities like that, you know, it starts to really add up quickly. Dinner, food, the fact that some of the players on the team make more money than you'll ever make in the course of 4 professional athletic careers, and they don't have anything to worry about. You feel me? Like, that's because of the kind of money that they bring in, and good for them, more power to them. But again, it's a pretty sad state of affairs when the highest paid person on the team gets paid $440,000 a game, and there's 82 games in a season, and other players on the team make $300,000 a year. $300,000 a year, when one player makes $444,000 for one game. Yeah, there's a slight discrepancy in the world of organized and athletic and professional sports, too. And again, it is like that for a reason, because that guy that's making $444,000 a game is very much involved in determining the outcome of the games that he plays, or she, or they, or them, so that at the end of the day, they can appease what I'd argue are more like stockholders and shareholders than they are fans of a game that is supposed to be gentlemanly and competitive and passionate and has drama, and people are gonna win because they are not just better, but because they have more will to get over the fact that talent can't quite prevail in that specific instance. I mean, the highest video on this channel is underdogs. I've talked about underdogs a lot. And underdogs are something that, given the right opportunity and circumstance, can absolutely happen. On a random day, and, you know, on any stage of sport in the world, if talent doesn't show up and the other team decides to get on a certain type of vibe, all bets are off. And that's how sports should be. Whether it's basketball, whether it's watching an American football game, or moreover, whether it's recognizing that our culture suffers as a result of trying to continue to manipulate outcomes that are inevitably indeterminable if you just let people play. Right? Now, again, when you let people play and there's no conflict of interest, and the only people betting on you are people that are faceless and that you'll never see, and that choose within their own consent to make that decision to bet $20 on the game with their coworker from work on every Sunday, the Raiders, when they play, I mean, that's less impactful than it is to have apps available for you to drown yourself in debt because you think your team is going to win, when months ago somebody decided who was gonna win this game. Again, like, that's what I think. I hope that you guys have a really good night. Merry Christmas Eve to you. Bye.